Fort comes from fortis, Latin for strong. The familiar noun fort, meaning a building strengthened against possible attacks, comes directly from it. And our verb comfort actually means to give strength and hope to. Fortify, to strengthen. Fortified by a good night's sleep and a big breakfast, they set off for the final 20 miles of their journey. Medieval cities were fortified against attack by high walls, and volunteers may fortify a levee against an overflowing river by means of sandbags. Foods can be fortified by adding vitamins, but fortified wines, such as sherry and port, have brandy, a stronger drink, rather than vitamins added to them. By adopting good exercise habits, you can fortify your body against illness. And fortifying needn't always be physical. An author's reputation may be fortified by the success of his new book, or a prosecutor can fortify a case against a suspect by finding more evidence. Fortification 1. The building of military defenses to protect a place against attack. 2. A structure built to protect a place. The city's fortifications had withstood powerful assaults by catapults, battering rams, and tall siege towers that rolled up to release soldiers onto the top of the walls. In the Middle Ages, many European cities were entirely enclosed by sturdy walls, with walkways along the top and towers at intervals, designed to make an invasion impossible. A water-filled ditch, or moat, might run alongside the wall for added defense. Such defenses turned the entire city into a fort or fortress. Over the centuries, fortifications changed steadily with the development of new weaponry. In World War II, the German fortification of the French coast included anti-tank barriers, bunkers, minefields, and underwater obstacles, but it wasn't enough to turn back the immense force of the Allied invasion on D-Day. Forte, something that a person does particularly well, one's strong point. Her forte was statistics, and she was always at a disadvantage when the discussion turned to public policy. In the Middle Ages, swords were often known to break in battle, so the strongest part of a sword's blade, the part between the handle, or hilt, and the middle of the blade, was given a name, the forte. Today a forte is usually a special strength. But no one can agree on how to pronounce it. All three pronunciations shown above are heard frequently. Part of the problem is confusion with the Italian musical term forte, always pronounced /frt/, meaning loud. Fortitude, mental strength that allows one to face danger, pain, or hardship with courage. He's just too nice, and we worry that he won't have the fortitude to deal with the monsters in that office. How many people know that the famous marble lions that guard the steps of the New York Public Library in Manhattan are named Patience and Fortitude? In Latin, the quality of fortitudo combines physical strength, vigor, courage, and boldness, but the English fortitude usually means simply firmness and steadiness of will, or backbone. The philosopher Plato long ago listed 4 essential human virtues: prudence, i.e., good judgment; justice, i.e., ability to be fair in balancing between one's own interests and others; temperance, i.e., moderation or restraint; and fortitude, and in Christian tradition these became known as the 4 cardinal virtues. Cis comes from the Latin verb meaning to cut, cut down, or slay. An incisor is one of the big front-biting teeth. Beavers and woodchucks have especially large ones. A decision cuts off previous discussion and uncertainty. Concise, brief and condensed, especially an expression or statement. Professor Childs's exam asked for a concise, one-page summary of the causes of the American Revolution. Many students think that adding unnecessary sentences with long words will make their writing more impressive. But in fact, almost every reader values concision, since concise writing is usually easier to read, better thought out, and better organized, that is, simply better writing. Words such as short don't have the full meaning of concise, which usually means not just brief, but packed with information. Excise, to cut out, especially surgically. The ancient Minoans from the island of Crete apparently excised the hearts of their human sacrifices. Excise takes part of its meaning from the prefix x-out. A writer may excise long passages of a novel to reduce it to a reasonable length, or a film director may excise a scene that might give offense. A surgeon may excise a large cancerous tumor, or make a tiny excision to examine an organ's tissue. Excise is also a noun, meaning a tax paid on something manufactured and sold in the U.S. Much of what consumers pay for tobacco or alcohol products go to cover the excise taxes that the state and federal government charge the manufacturers. But it's only accidental that this noun is spelled like the verb, since it comes from a completely different source. Incisive, impressively direct and decisive. A few incisive questions were all that was needed to expose the weakness in the prosecutor's case. From its roots, incise means basically to cut into. So just as a doctor uses a scalpel to make an incision in the skin, an incisive remark cuts into the matter at hand. A good analyst makes incisive comments about a news story, cutting through the unimportant details, and a good critic incisively identifies a book's strengths and weaknesses.